Come on.
Welcome to Party Crashers. We are live from the Chicago whereabouts unknown Northwest. OPSEC. What's up? We're here with Andrew Herrera of Herrera Strategies, our Chicago politics / Chicago correspondent, which is kind of a wound to my soul because I feel like Captain Planet in the city of Chicago. The further away I get, the weaker I become. We got Meg, as you know Meg. We don't have to. Meg doesn't need any preludes or like intros. She's just Meg, one of a kind. Can't even begin with the resume because it'll take too long. Meg, you've called us here for an emergency meeting. As you can see, I made a sign for it. It says, "All right, rest in piss, Mitch McConnell?" ?
Oh, what's going on with Mitch McConnell? He was transferred into physical therapy, right? Is that what happened?
I have no idea. I don't know if you have any opinion on it, but I was just figured it would be a good way to.
We can start with Mitch McConnell.
No, I figured I didn't know how to spell it. The Heritage Foundation was too many letters. We should start with that. What do you think? What do you think's going on with that? Tell me about that.
Really high. 1 second.
Okay, she's high in the sky right now. She's not on
okay.
drugs. Is that
Heritage Foundation? Let me go to wait. Hold on. Okay, does anyone explain what the Heritage Foundation is before?
Yeah, I can do it. I actually broke in there one time. Well, I didn't break in.
Okay, give us the story.
Okay, so what happened is I went to Washington. It's on my somewhere. It's in my YouTube or Instagram or something. Like I did a short about it, but let me see if I can find it. But basically, the Heritage Foundation is like the think tank that created the world we live in today in America. It is an ideological Zamboni for fascism, is what I call it, because it basically created a permission structure for neo-fascist ideology that was.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you. The Heritage Foundation was founded by Paul Weyrich and Edward something. Okay, but Paul Weyrich is one of the founders of the Moral Majority with Jerry Falwell. Paul Weyrich is the one who, so they started the Heritage Foundation after, because they weren't building enough political power on just being like racist. They were segregationists after Brown v. Board was overturned. So Jerry Falwell did like the televangelist side, like hitting the culture to like keep racism embedded in like all of these ideologies. And then Paul Weyrich, his Moral Majority co-founder, hit the legislative side. So, like, for example, their first big thing was making anti-abortion the new Christian thing. So Jerry Falwell goes for the first time declaring for all evangelical Christians that abortion is murder. Meanwhile, Paul Weyrich used the Heritage Foundation to fund like propaganda commercials on how you're killing babies. And so from there, since they were the ones who wrote Ronald Reagan. Sorry, I just totally took over. They were the ones who wrote Ronald Reagan's policies. And then now we know that they did Project 2025, but they're just bad guys who have always been in the background with the main goal of preserving white supremacy here in the United States.
No, thank you for, thank you for doing, I do heavy lifting with light equipment. That's why I think it's always better for you to jump in and talk about like the history portion, unless it's like history stuff that I happen to know about, which usually takes place between 40 and 50 years ago. But yeah, pretty much what Meg just said.
The one thing I'd add too on that is that I think the Heritage Foundation is the one, like Meg's talking about, they brought abortion to the fore as kind of the
wedge
all-encompassing issue. Yeah. And the wedge issue, basically, not only was it a wedge issue, but it was kind of like an all-encompassing issue where they got people so wound up about it that people would knowingly vote against their own self-interest to just because of abortion. And so that really only works in like the two-party system, because you would have Democrats who are moving out, who are like on one side of the issue, and because they're on one side of the issue, the Republicans could be for literally anything else, as long as they were on the right side of abortion as far as the conservatives are concerned. And so you wind up with folks like, you look at the total decimation of Louisiana and all these like families and communities that depend on fishing and the wildlife, and everything there is poisoned and dead, and the communities have been decimated. But this is a great book. I forget what it's called. I'll look it up and say in a sec. But it asks like, why are these people voting against yourself? Like, do they just not get it? And people say, well, kind of in this kind of, especially the like fundamentalist evangelical sects, they believe that like the end of days is near, and so they're more concerned with their immortal souls than they are with their current circumstance, because this is a transient plane. We're only here for a blip of time, and then we live for eternity in the ever after. So
we do? That sounds sick, bro. How do I get in on that? Is there? Oh wait, I have to be crazy and an asshole, and
you probably can't break into the Heritage Foundation. That's probably number one.
I tried, bro. I have the footage, but I'll let Andrew.
Oh yeah, you should find that footage.
But yeah, that's the thing. Is just like that's the way they poison the well on all of our politics. And I think that's starting to change, but it's been one of the most prolific and impactful, I say like right-wing liberal reactionary institutions, and what I would also consider the set of revolutionary liberal institutions, where they're trying to actually they are revolutionary in nature because they're trying to create an institutional revolution. They're trying to completely change the makeup of our society, and they're trying to take us away from liberal democracy into this this illiberal state where the minority rules and the rest of us have to live by under their rule.
Yeah, super white nationalist, also super Zionist. So I think it's like they've also they collaborated with the ADL on Project Esther, which criminalizes any Palestinians or Palestinian rights groups and targets them. So I'm going to share my screen.
Can I show my video?
Oh yes, please.
Sorry.
Go for it. No, don't be.
Here we go. Let me get this screen going here. So this is when I went to the Heritage Foundation after they banned Jimmy Kimmel, I think it was. Hang on a second. There we go.
You're crazy.
Yeah, I'm here to see Brendan Carr because I want to cancel myself. Come on, man. I don't want to hurt their feelings. I should have worn more khakis. I think I would have gotten in quicker. Partially balding guy with a bad dress sense. Looks like Warren Buffett's body double. Excuse me, sir. Is there any way I can cancel myself because I make comedy at the expense of the regime? Definitely strikes me as an Android user. I offended and I'd like to turn myself in. I want a cell next to Jelaine. My grocery prices are going. Club Fed sounds nice. Tough crowd. White tents for a party outside. It's very interesting. They look like white hoods. There's a nice older gentleman here. Does Brendan Carr work here? He doesn't work here. Are you the person to talk to? Who do I talk to about that? Oh, really? Who's that? Are you sure about that?
Edwin Fjellner, that was his name.
No, I do know who he is because he was the founder of the Heritage Foundation. Didn't Jimmy Kimmel just get fired for saying something offensive? How does Ed Pollner's legacy reconcile that? This woman is a mental Olympic athlete with respect to her gymnastics. I'm here to fire myself because I made a joke that's offensive. Whoa, sir, there's no need to push and shove. Well, actually, now that we don't have a First Amendment, speech can be policed. Does Brandon Carr not work here anymore? I don't know. I get a cell next to Ghislaine. She said, I love you, but I'm not convinced she feels that. Nobody can if they're fascists. I like that their symbol is a bell, which is supposed to be the Liberty Bell, but they don't believe in liberty. This is very disappointing. It's not how we go down with a bang, but with a bunch of fucking debate nerds.
Why don't they send the National Guard to our city? Oh, wait, because they're soft as shit. This proves it.
I'm a comedian that offended. Dude, they were so lame, man. It was so profoundly.
They seem really lame.
They were so boring. Wait, there was a woman coming out of Ed Pollner's funeral. Can I just say the part about the funeral thing that was really fun?
Yeah.
She was coming out of the door and she was wearing like all black. And I'm like, oh, where are you coming from? She's like, I'm coming from the Heritage Foundation. And I'm like, oh, that's crazy because I'm making fun of them right now. And she's like, yeah, you know, Ed Fulner was a great American. And she's like, he defended your right to say this. And I was like, oh, didn't Jimmy Kimmel
I
just
thought these rights are inalienable, fucker. I don't need your defense.
Yeah,
Ugh,
wait,
I fucking hate
but
you
she
guys.
said, didn't Jimmy Kimmel just get fired for saying what he believed? And then she's like, let me correct myself. Ed Fulner wasn't pro freedom of speech. He was pro freedom. And then she smiled, and then this like horrible lady came up, and she's like, I'm glad you dealt with this. And I was like, I don't want to body shame anybody, so I'm not going to unless I can because they're fascist. Meg, make a ruling.
No.
Okay, I'm not going to do it. But she was
Okay.
mean, and it was apparent.
Okay. So the Heritage Foundation, they are a part of why Trump designated fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. Okay. They have like so many articles on their website about fentanyl, especially from Mexico across the southwest border, and how the DOD needs to stop this. So they've been building a case to increase ICE operations, to, you know, treat it, to send our military down there, you know, everything going on in Venezuela, all of that. But a Heritage Foundation employee was caught with this weapon of mass destruction, literal, according to Donald Trump, weapon of mass destruction, while trying to get into the Senate. He also had a fully loaded pistol magazine and homemade pills that had cocaine, fentanyl, and Adderall in them, all three.
Oh, that'll knock you out and keep you going at the same time.
Ooh, I know. I don't know what he was trying to do there.
Speedball pill.
This is him,
It's a good
Matthew
way to.
Christopher Wingate. He is their government relations director full time when he's not partying hard with a gun. So this happened 2 weeks ago, and they gave him a misdemeanor, and 2 weeks ago it has gotten no coverage. Comments,
Seriously,
thoughts?
why isn't that? Wait, that guy got caught with literally a bunch.
That's
of
like what they crucified Hunter Biden over. Having, you can't have like ammo or a gun with drugs.
Why not? I'm just
I
kidding.
know.
That's stupid. It's crazy to me that these people who, like, when I was in DC outside of the Heritage Foundation, like, everybody was walking out of the office. These are all fascists, mind you, right? Fascists are like, they wear the most boring clothes and they do the most lame stuff to have fun. They just do the same stuff we do, except they do it hidden in shame. And then they like just do it like harder because there's more shame surrounding it and they have to hide it. These people suck. They're like the people that had pools in high school that like no one even wanted to use them for their pool. Like they were so lame. They're like, dude, I do not want to have spent any time with a model debate kid who's like gonna like filibuster because I'm trying to pass sanctions on human rights abuses. Andrew, sorry, I'm kind of reaching here. I'm trying to get organized. So what do you got?
No, you're all good. Yeah, I think the thing here is that, yeah, it's like you said, it's just that the total hypocrisy of the whole thing. And, you know, you look at the war on drugs, right? And, you know, how they would, the penalties for crack, which was basically like poor man's coke, was higher than the penalties for coke. So you would actually, like, if you were trafficking pure cocaine.
Can I drill? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, even if you were like a major trafficker and you were trafficking, but if you're trafficking pure cocaine, that means you're like higher up the economic scale as a trafficker, and you're more likely to get off.
To the tune of 56 to 1. So if you had a $10 rock in your pocket, that was the of rock cocaine. That was the equivalent of having 1 ounce of powder, I think, which is 28 grams. So 56 times the amount of what we had powder. We typically had more money.
Is your sound getting fucked?
Yeah, your audio got
I
weird.
can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
You had to hit us with that gravelly voice.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, but I was saying that it was like literally like something that you could get picked up for with it was literally just the medium of the drug delivery system. Like if you had powder cocaine mixed with baking soda that you heated up on a kitchen stove and bought for $10, it was the same as having 1 ounce of powder cocaine, which is insane.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just also just like the disproportionate Black men are admitted into state prison on drug charges at a rate that is 13.4 times greater than that of white men. Meanwhile, it's like white men use these same drugs 5 times more than Black men. So,
and real quick, Meg, can I ask you something about the unfair sentencing standards? When did that come into prevalence, Andrew or Meg? Do you know what year it was?
the minimum mandatory or whatever it's called. No,
Yeah.
tell.
I think it was in the 1980s. Do you know why that was good for Ronald Reagan and his friends at the Heritage Foundation? It's
Modern day
slavery.
plantations.
Yep, the 13th Amendment, because they privatized prisons during the same administration, and the prison industrial complex was created by the people who I was yelling at in front of their office who purported to be pro-freedom. What a gigantic crock of shit.
Yeah. You
They're
know,
the worst, dude.
My wife and I are having this conversation the other day about kind of the American conception of freedom and how really to be free is freedom is a positive right? Like you want to be free to pursue, to have life and pursue happiness, right? That's the point of liberty. And so to be able to pursue happiness, though, because we're social creatures, you have to have community. You have to, you can't do it on your own. You also can't even really, historically, humans are not meant to live on their own, right? So you depend on a community for survival. And so you have these institutions like the Heritage Foundation that actually exist to break up community in a lot of ways. And so they'll preserve this certain kind of like abstract notion of liberty. And that's kind of what they're supposedly fighting for, while simultaneously what they're doing is like we're saying, like highly illiberal, where they're actually, they're taking away your freedom by, and not just directly, pushing for these increased penalties and pushing for these extremely punitive policies, but pushing for policies that are deliberately structured to break up community, so that you look at, and I think this is something that we're seeing echoes of right now, where you look at the post-civil rights era. So you look at 80s and Reagan, that was very bad, but even before that with Nixon, right? You already saw this kind of like war on crime and all those kinds of stuff that was starting, and what you see, like, there's a lot of like stereotypes and a lot of like discourse around like the role of Black fathers, right? And there's like this kind of implicit criticism about Black men as fathers, because they're like, oh, Black men are absentee dads, or like those are kinds of like the tropes. But the only reason those tropes even exist at all is because the whole generations of Black men went to prison. And they went to prison for like the smallest possible infractions. And then we know there's a compounding system. So like you go to prison, and then you can't stay in public housing, and so you actually are cut off from your community. And so you're likely to your recidivism rates go way up, because you have no other choice but to feed yourself, but to commit another crime. And so you do these kinds of things. And what it does is it takes it started with a generation, but generations of men out of the picture. And it interrupts them precisely the moment they're having kids, right? Like their early 20s and their early 30s. And so, or like late teens and the early 30s. And so it has an incredibly disruptive effect on community. And there's nothing that's more impoverishing than fracturing community. And there's nothing that removes your freedom, your ability to pursue your own freedom, more than fracturing community. And now we're seeing the same thing with these immigration detentions. We have so many mixed status communities, and you're seeing pillars of community. And you hear about all these guys who are employers, or they're soccer coaches, or there's a guy who dressed up for every holiday in a different outfit and was just like somebody who brought joy to the community. In all these circumstances, these people are just being disappeared, and moms and dads and everybody. And so you can't have that kind of disruption to community without it having an extremely like deleterious negative effect on everybody's ability to pursue freedom. And so really the Heritage Foundation and all these others are like expressly anti-freedom institutions that are trying to attack. They see the existence of their freedoms as zero sum in contrast to ours, and they only are free to do what they want if we don't have the ability to express ourselves. It's a freedom of a plantation owner.
We have a bunch of people in our Twitch chat who are new. So I just want to welcome them before I channel some of the beautifully illustrated point that Andrew just made into pure sophomore comedy when I prank called the Heritage Foundation. I put their phone numbers up on our screen. You can see Duncan, pleasure to meet you, sir. Did you guys know that the president of the Heritage Foundation was at one point a scholar in racial studies?
He has his PhD in African American studies, I believe.
Duncan, good call out. That's so I think I'm going to
look at that.
I'm going to call
how sick is that though, that he literally got his PhD in this so that he could create policy to reinforce racial, like, and then they say, why are you making everything about race? But I think what is interesting.
What's the guy's name who did the fentanyl thing?
Matthew Christopher Wilson, I think.
God, dude, it's like 3 first names. Let's see here. 1 second. Matthew Christopher Wilson. What a boring ass name. It's like, dude, you can name yourself something that isn't in the New Testament. Matthew Christopher, Heritage Foundation staffer charged with drug use. Here we go. Look at this guy. Of course he has a Hitler haircut.
Okay, so Kevin Roberts, the Heritage Foundation president, his 2003 dissertation is Slaves and Slavery in Louisiana, the Evolution of Atlantic World Identities.
Oh,
And his master's thesis was African Virginian Extended Kin, the prevalence of West African family forms among slaves in Virginia. That's sick shit.
I'm going to call these idiots. I have an idea.
Okay.
Sorry, not to make it any more. Let's see here. What do we got? Matthew Christopher Wingate. Jesus, it sounds like that was carved in the Mayflower. Okay, let's call these idiots. 202-546-4400. Drop me the link in the chat. Feel free to give them Why are you scared? This is a totally plausible phone call.
Thanks for calling the Heritage Foundation. How may I direct your call?
Yeah, hi. My name is Franklin Wright. I was looking to speak with Christopher Wingate.
What is it regarding?
His name's Fast Chris, the way I know him. He owes me well, we have a business transaction that's yet to be settled.
Okay. Please hold.
Thank you. Anybody know who Frank Wright is?
Like Frank Lloyd Wright? I don't know why this is giving me anxiety.
Either away from their desk or otherwise unable to answer the phone. Please leave a message after the tone. Thank you. Goodbye.
Hey, Christopher, this is Frank Wright. I know that you got wrapped up in a few engagements recently involving certain proprietary formula that I had passed along to you for a good time with Lindsey Graham. May he rest in peace. Anyways, the tab is not settled, young man. And they don't call me Frank Wright. There's a reason why, I got a reputation. Anyways, listen, Christopher, I know you're going through a lot right now with legal troubles and things like that, but just remember, we're going to need that settlement for that chemical. Thank you.
Wouldn't it have been crazy if he answered the phone?
Yeah,
Anyways,
Frank Wright is the guy.
that.
Frank Wright is the guy Christopher Walken plays in what's it called?
These people know too much peace, which I think is going back to what Andrew was saying is like.
Wait, I didn't get to finish my reference.
Okay,
Frank Wright.
finish.
Sorry. I got to show you. Watch. Christopher Walken is Frank Wright. From the guy from he talks about in Notorious B.I.G. in that song. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
Hang on a second. You know what it is.
It's from King of New York.
Yes, King of New York. Thank you, dude. I was dying. Frank Wright. Here it is. Oh,
YouTube really wants me to watch that movie. It's I haven't seen it, but I keep getting all those clips.
Oh, dude, I love this movie. I've never seen it, but it looks cool.
It does look
Anyways, sorry, Meg. We can go back to what you were talking
I
about.
just know we're trying to be like good on time today, so I'm trying to keep
That's
things
true. We're already
moving
almost.
along.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So though, getting back to the fact that I feel like the Heritage Foundation really operates in, I mean, a lot of these people just operate in silence. What do you think people need to like be doing? Like what are some takeaways that you want people to have from
Look,
this?
for me, the thing is that the right, if you like, I'm not the first one to say this, right? So it's nothing new, but maybe it's new to some of the listeners. The right really got its start under Barry Goldwater, like the new right got its start under Barry Goldwater. And I like to say that Barry Goldwater was the Bernie Sanders of the right, or Bernie Sanders is our Barry Goldwater. In the same way that Bernie, his 2016 campaign, I think it really made the left, right, like the true left, not like these shit lib Democrats, but the true left kind of wake up and realize like, shit, we need institutions. We've been asleep at the wheel. We've been losing for a long time, and we don't have any institutions to be able to mount a credible bid for power. We just don't. And so we started to see these organizations pop up, Justice Democrats and Data for Progress, and all different kinds of institutions started to pop up then. The Republicans, or not even the Republicans, these like illiberal reactionaries, they started doing this back under Goldwater, right? So this is like the 1960 campaign for president. So they've been building this for an extremely long time. And the Heritage Foundation is just one cog in this very well-oiled machine. And the Heritage Foundation is a think tank, and the think tanks are all associated with LLCs or all these consultancies that are able to do the ad buys, the lobbying, the whatever else. And then you've got the C3s and the C4s that are able to, the C3s do the advocacy and the C4s politicize it and do lobbying. And so you have this entire campaign apparatus. And they've been able to use that to extraordinary effect over the past 50 years. And that is what birthed, when the Tea Party came out as a truly populist reaction to voter discontent, these institutions weren't really behind that, but they were able to seize on it. And they seized it and they broke the Republican Party. And they've completely taken over the Republican Party now. And what they've really done that people don't quite recognize, I think, is because they've actually displaced corporate interests, right? And it feels weird because you look at corporations kind of running the Republican Party. But at the end of the day, the corporations have to kind of be careful, because you see there's a hierarchy now where like the MAGA right wing is inherent. A lot of it is inherently anti-corporatist, and the corporations have to kind of kowtow to the populist line. And that is the recipe for fascism, right? Fascism is the political project that actually connects a plurality with the ruling elite, right? And so you have this like working class plurality that's made common cause with these corporate elites. And that it was what the Nazis were, right? Like the Nazis were 20-30% of the Germans who made common cause with the guys who owned Volkswagen, right? And owned, all of these other big companies. And then they took over the entire country. They destroyed the Weimar Republic and led us all into World War II. And we're seeing something very similar there. Now, what that's done, because it displaced, so when you get the Liz Cheneys of the party and all that kind of stuff, and what was Dick Cheney, right? He was the CEO of Halliburton. And so like the corporatist wing of the Republican Party has actually gone over to the Democrats. And the Democrats are trying to say, oh, like we want to get the good billionaires, not the bad billionaires, because the Democratic establishment is inherently corporatist now. And that's what's freezing us. And so what we have to do on the left side of things is we also have to do what the right did, and we have to take over the party, and we have to displace the corporate interests, and we have to make sure that we have a truly populist. I mean, so populism is still a bad word in this country, which is it's weird to me because we are a democracy, are we not? So isn't democracy inherently populist? And in the Constitution and all these kinds of things, it should be seen as obstacles. They're not a thing that we should be looking at and saying, like, look at this sacred document that can never be changed. I mean, look at Thomas Jefferson, I believe it was, who was saying that the Constitution should be revisited every generation.
The problem with the use of the word populist is They use it like the word reactionary, when really what the word I think that they're looking for is reactionary. Populist is like what's popular. The Heritage Foundation. The thing I wanted to add is what's
Sorry,
that?
I have to jump to a quick immigration emergency, so I will update you guys later. But I gotta go.
Oh, okay. Take care. Thank you for coming on,
Talk soon.
Meg.
Mhm.
Do you want to do another prank call with me real quick, or do you got to jump? I got one to do for.
We can do one more, and then I do have to go after work.
All right. So, all right. Just give me this. We just need 10 minutes, okay? 5 minutes. Do you know who Sri Thanadar is?
The Nander, yes.
How do you say it?
The Nander. He's horrible.
Yeah. Okay. Sri Thanander. This guy is running against Donovan McKinney is trying to. Who's cool? He's very cool. Sri Thanander. He is 71 years old. His face looks like it's 40 years old in Larry Ellison years. He is among the worst. He's not a good guy. He is taking money from AIPAC, from all sorts of corporate interests. Apparently back
He abandoned puppies.
That's what I was just going to say. That's what I found out about this guy.
We talked about this yesterday, me and Brittany, actually.
He abandoned puppies. I found out that he owned like a pharmaceutical testing lab, and then he was like, "Oh,
have you seen the video of when they rescued the puppies and they had never touched grass before? So they were like, it was so fucking sad.
Oh my God.
It's so fucking sad.
But you know, this guy is like, it's crazy because he's supposed to be a Democrat or whatever, but he moves like a tech oligarch. And I also like, he doesn't, I don't know. I don't like him. So I was going to prank call his office. Do you think I should or no?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the office prank calls have been like kind of like
stale, right?
Yeah. There's got to be something else we can do. I feel like there's something else we can do. Like,
maybe we can make that. Yeah, I feel like there's something. It's gotten kind of stale. The Haley Steven one was great though. That one was funny.
And the Lindsey Graham one, but I feel like otherwise they've been kind of. Yeah. I feel like we have to switch techniques.
Yes, good call. See, this is why me and Mag are good co-hosts, because
I think we got to do something more creative.
We challenge each other. Should we tease our next? The reason why we're going short today. Should we talk about why we're going short today?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
We have a big guest tomorrow. Honestly, do you even know how we book these guests?
Do I know?
Yeah, like they seem too big for our tiny stream. But we got Jamal Bowman coming on tomorrow at 2 p.m. He is going to be talking about, well, he can talk about whatever he wants. It's Jamal Bowman. He's the coolest dude.
He's the realist. He was like, him and Cori Bush were really the first ones to stand up to AIPAC, and they were ousted from their seats. AIPAC got them out of their seats a few years ago. Now Cori Bush is rerunning in St. Louis. Jamal Bowman has been working on supporting other progressive campaigns and causes. And he is writing a new book called Unpolished. He's releasing a new book called Unpolished. So he's going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about some of the primaries that have been, getting hit by AIPAC as well, like in Michigan.
And we're going to talk about we're going to talk about fun stuff too. We're going to talk about fun stuff too. I kind of just want to see what he has to say about just like, hey man, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you up to? Like, because like, I feel like since he left Congress, that's when I've like, I don't know. It's just, he's cool. I want to just learn more about him, what he's doing. He wants to hang out. Maybe I can talk with him about hip hop and stuff because I know he's really big. I saw him rap an entire Wu-Tang song after he introduced himself on stage. So I kind of want to ask him. So it's going to be really fun tomorrow, 2:00 Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. Congressman Dr. Jamal Bowman. I think he's a doctor. He's a PhD in something, right?
Education, I think.
Yeah, PhD in education. We're gonna go Congressman Dr. Jamal Bowman. All right, so that's it for us today. Short stream, fun stream. We had Andrew on. Hey, if you're watching us on Instagram or you are on TikTok, we love your support. We don't monitor those chats. So if you could please click the link in our bios. We are being shadow banned from platforms owned by the Ellisons or Mark Zuckerberg. So that's the easiest way you can support us. We're never paywalling our stuff, but even if you just watch our YouTube videos, that gets us one step closer to making a living doing this stuff. Mag, good find on the Heritage Foundation story. Let's take the rest of the day and recuperate.
All right. Chat later. Bye, y'all. Thank you.